Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the BEA part number 10RD900. This is a 900 megahertz digital receiver is what it is, and this is what the 900 megahertz version looks like. There are images down below detailing this item. And before I go over the general specifications of the item, here are some dimensional properties. Overall width of the receiver, about 2.5. Overall height of the receiver, about 2 inch. Overall thickness, about 3/4 inch. You've got your antenna wire. You've got your, let's see, red and black are obviously power. White is going to be common. And green and yellow are your normally open, normally closed wires, which are detailed. And it looks like you've got every bit of 24 inch there. The normally open, normally closed we'll get to. I don't remember which color is that. Is normally open, normally closed. There is a link below this video to a document called User's Guide, which is really installation instructions, and it will come with your product. And as we review that, page 1 is going to give you a detailed layout or geography of the unit. Your receiver, your wire, your blue and red activation lights are on the interior. You've got your dip switches down here, which we'll go over in a moment. You've got your 2 learn buttons. This one on top of my finger is number 8. That's the delay learn button. Then you have the no delay learn button, number 7. Then number 9 here is the delay learn, POT. We'll get to that in a moment. You will also get a couple of pieces of hook and loop tape. And it's the receiver only. Let's move to page 2, where it will just give you the general outlines of how to begin wiring this. Obviously, disconnect everything from power and then proceed accordingly. The green is the normally open relay contact. Yellow is normally closed. The other wires are defined. Setup. Now, it defines the dip switches. So dip switch 1, when it's in the off position, it's going to obey dip switches 2 and 3. And when it's in the on position, pressing the transmitter once activates and holds relay indefinitely. Pressing transmitter again deactivates relay immediately with no delay or hold. Okay. And as you look at the dip switches, you might think in your head, you might consider the different possibilities of how you can configure this with an incredibly short delay or a 10-second delay, whether something's going to be always running or activated only in those circumstances. So dip switch number 2, when it's in the off position, you'll have a 1/2 second active time frame, and when it's in the on position, you'll have 10 seconds. That would be very helpful for something that might need to relock, let's say. Dip switch 3, when it's in the off position, the relay will act according to dip switches 1 and 2. And when it's in the on position, it will operate as in an extended hold feature. It might be something appropriate for maybe an executive function on an automatic door. There have been other instances with that extended hold where you want to create a locked environment so long as the transmitter is transmitting, meaning that it's being held. Think of a room where you might need to keep it locked by a voluntary action. Think of a timeout room, perhaps. Not that this material is appropriate or correct for that application. However, the functionality overall would be conducive to the example where someone gets put in the timeout room, the door is closed, the button is held, and a magnetic lock is locked until the power is cut or that transmitter is released. That would be an example. And while I don't have all the facts, that would be an example of this kind of structure that you might use that particular dip setting for. So there'll be lots of different possibilities that you might need something to operate electrically per these characteristics with either basically no hold time or something with a 10-second hold time, where it's either standard hold or extended hold, normally open, normally closed. So the functionality of the dip switches gives you really all possibilities to configure it for your, what may be an unusual application. I've sold material to people who had a, if I recall it, had a storage facility. They wanted the door to open, keypad. Client has access to the door, automatic door operator. The door would close after so many seconds. Electric strike is involved. And I think we did something where there was a sensor on the interior of the door, and they needed to be able to allow an extended hold time to more than a single individual to come through the opening before the receiver would communicate back properly to the electronics of the opening. So lots of possibilities. Moving on to the page 3, would be page 3 of 4. Actually, not quite there yet. It shows the handheld, the bottom of page 2. It will show you the handheld programming. It's very simple. Once you open up the, like an overhead residential garage door, once you open the receiver for programming, you will program your unit by hitting the transmitter button twice, and then you'll get a blue activation light off of the receiver. Page 3 will show you the same sort of setup that you'll do for a push plate, maybe a bullard post sort of installation. Very common in the for entryway of a nursing home, let's say. You'll very often have an automatic door with a bullard post and a push plate that will be there. And then the bottom of page 3 details how to remove transmitters, which is not unusual to do. And then, of course, the page 4 gets into troubleshooting, and like almost all things BEA, they're very simple and straightforward to work on, so that troubleshooting section is actually quite small, that you'll notice. There is also a link below this video to the cut sheet, which is handy because it will allow you to review the 900 series megahertz receiver and the other 900 series items. And really, in particular, what you're finding there are the different transmitters, whether they're keychain, handheld, or hardwired, would be very typical and common, like you would see in a push plate bullard post installation. There's also a link to the manufacturer's page down below this video that will allow you to review not only all of the BEA products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. If you have any questions on the BEA, this is their part number 10RD900, 10 receiver, 900 megahertz, or any other BEA product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.